Welcome back. Let's talk about
I'm
that.
out. Stop the presses. Hold the phone over there, Mr. Sharp.
Okay,
we have unattended business here on Undisputed. Could I please have?
Oh.
Thank you very much. Joy Taylor. It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Joy. Open it up. Let's see what you got.
Thanks, guys.
What a cake. We know you like cake.
We know you like cake.
This is awesome. Oh, my God, I love it. Oh, okay, but here's the best part, though. Oh, this is so great.
Everybody knows.
Thank you.
What a cake.
I have cupcakes downstairs I will share with everybody.
That ain't no birthday.
I love cupcakes.
Birthday cake.
Thank you very much.
I have never heard of birthday cupcakes.
Well, that's
you know what? I'm disappointed. Where is
You don't
the
want
cake?
a cupcake?
No, I want real cake.
All right, well, more from
By the way, for those who don't know, Joy actually has this brother named Jason, who is actually just Joy's brother now because he's just he's out of the spotlight.
So that's why you like D Wade's birthday is today also. So that's why you like D Wade.
Happy birthday. Right?
Happy birthday.
Yes.
But Jason Taylor wore number
99.
There we go.
And she 99 times the petty person that we thought she was.
Well, we're kind of Jason's going to be back.
And Jason Taylor is a legitimate first ballot Hall of Famer as opposed to a 12th ballot Hall. No, I'm sorry. Is it third ballot? What was it?
I'm not legit.
Yeah. Well, you're
legit.
okay. You got in.
Thank you very much, guys. I love it. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about that NFC Championship game. The Vikings are a 3-point favorite in Philadelphia. It's the second straight game. The Eagles are a home underdog. Their fans are not appreciating that. Shannon, should Minnesota be favored?
No, I don't think so. Normally the home team. So basically, you're saying that Minnesota is 6 points favored better than Philly because the home team normally gets 3.5 points for being the home team. So for Minnesota to be 3-point favorites, you're saying, and you're also saying, we have no confidence whatsoever in Nick Foles. We like Case Keenum better than we like Nick Foles. And if I'm the Eagles, and both teams had success doing this, what happened is that because Minnesota jumped out to the early lead, even though they did a fairly good job of the Saints of neutralizing their run game, they didn't really force Case Keenum to have to beat them. Atlanta, instead of jumping out to a 14-point lead, although the Eagles didn't run the ball super effectively, they didn't have to get away from it totally, Skip, because they were only 3 points, 1 point behind. So in order to impose your will to see who's the better of the backups, because that's what Nick Foles was a starter, but they've been backups. Funny, Skip, both of these guys were on the Rams last year, but that's not here nor there. But you have to take the run away and put these guys in situations where they're down, say, 7 to 10 points. Because if they're only down 3 points, they're only down a couple of points, Skip, they're going to stick with the runs. You need to force one of these guys to beat you. But I am shocked that the Minnesota Vikings, now the weather is going to be unseasonably warm, 50 as a high, so probably by kickoff it's going to be somewhere maybe mid-40s, low 40s, which is, considering what it's been on the in Northeast, that's pretty good. But I'm surprised, Skip. I mean, I know Minnesota's playing really well, but to be a 3-point favorite over a team that's been basically the number one team in the NFC, basically from start to finish, I'm really surprised that Minnesota's favored by 3, considering it's not like Case Keenum is like a five-year starter, a proven veteran quarterback. He's been a backup the majority of his career, and they're saying we believe this backup case. That's what Vegas is saying. We believe this backup is better than that backup. They have no confidence in Nick Foles.
I am so with you on this. I think Vegas has this upside down. I think the Eagles should be at least a 3-point favorite at home. And to your point about Nick Foles, seriously, he's getting less respect than Blake Bortles.
Yes.
That's how they're treating him.
Yes.
He's not a punchline. He's not being referred to as trash. He's just viewed as an irrelevant liability in Philadelphia, right? Like he doesn't even count. He doesn't even exist. And because he doesn't exist, they're a 3.5-point underdog at home when they had the 4th best defense in points allowed. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
They were first in the National Football League against the run.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say good luck, Minnesota, with
Yeah.
Latavius and maybe a little Jerick McKinnon.
Correct.
Again, they averaged 3.9 a rush, did Minnesota in the year, which ranked 23rd. So they don't run it great. I think they're going to run it none against these guys in this stadium.
Yeah.
This is a hard place to win a game in.
And they're going to be fired.
And this team, Philadelphia, had the third best rushing offense. So they can run the heck out of it with your ex-Dolphin and that ex-Patriot, right?
Yep.
It's a pretty lethal
and
one,
throw Clement in there.
Yeah. And you know what? As a third down back, he's pretty good.
Very.
So real quick, let's look at Nick Foles' career so far. He has started 41 National Football League games. That's quite a bit, right? And in those games, he's thrown 61 touchdowns to only 29 interceptions. Well, if I told you that about anybody else, you'd be saying, hey, who doesn't want this guy, right? And he's played now in 2 playoff games, and in those 2 games, he's thrown 2 touchdown passes, but 0 interceptions in either of the 2 games. Yeah. Maybe the one against Atlanta should have been picked, but it wasn't. So in the 2 playoff games, Nick Foles has gone 46 out of 63. That's a high percentage for 441 yards. So he's shown you under pressure. He got off to a little shaky start against the Falcons, but then once he locked in, he was pretty smooth, man. Yeah. So look at his pedigree. Look at where he came from. He went to Drew Brees High School in Austin, Texas, Austin Westlake, which is known as a passing high school. So he followed Drew Brees there, and he was a hot national recruit. And he was going back and forth between Arizona and Arizona State. Then he went to Michigan State. Then he transferred back to Arizona and finished there. And his last year, he threw for 4,000-plus yards. So he was a big-time thrower in a draft that featured Luck and RG3 and your guy down in Miami, Tannehill, and Kirk Cousins was in there. Osweiler was in there. Who we forget? And Brandon Weeden was in there. The point is, it was a quarterback-laden draft. He could have gone higher without all that star power in there, but he went in the 3rd round. So he wasn't like undrafted, right?
Correct.
So, and remember, in high school, he was such a good basketball player that Texas and Baylor recruited him to play basketball. So he's got some ability. He's not fast, but he can move around a little bit, and they run a pure West Coast offense.
Shows he's athletic.
Okay? I'm just saying, he doesn't have the biggest arm, but he's a pretty accurate thrower, and he's shown you regularly over time he doesn't choke.
No.
He doesn't collapse. He doesn't come apart. And yet his team is a 3.5-point underdog at home just because of him.
And
that's just craziness.
And you mentioned the Skip. He got off to the shaky start. But last week against Atlanta, he was 23 of 30 for 246.
Okay.
7 incompletions after the start that he got off. But what they were able to do, because Atlanta didn't run ahead, Skip, 50% of his completions were to the backs and tight ends.
Okay.
I can assure you that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to minimize. Both teams will try to minimize. But here's the thing that Philly, when you stop the run, you know what you dictate what the team does. They're also number 1 in quarterback hits. So when they stop your run and they get you in known passing situations, they go get your quarterback. Now Fletcher Cox and Jernigan and Graham and Chris Long, Jim Schwartz, they put them in that Cowboy front. Now wide 9, they don't even they like, hey, don't worry about the run. Go get the quarterback, because they can't beat us running the football. They beat you. I mean, running game. You control the clock. You keep the other team's offense off the field. Whoop-de-whoop. Points come out the passing game. Go knock the heck out of their quarterback. Let's see if they got it. Okay, Vegas, you like Case Keenum? Well, what we're gonna try to do, we're gonna try to knock him out of the game and see if you still like the backup. Yeah. Because that's what I know. Sam Bradford. Now we know what Sam Bradford will do. He gonna fold like a banquet chair at the end of the night when pressure comes. They know firsthand in Philadelphia what Sam Bradford's going to do. So if I'm Philadelphia Eagle, if I'm Jim Schwartz, I'm dialing it up. I'm coming to get it.
Yeah. So you've talked regularly about Case Keenum. He's just a backup quarterback. So he started 38 games, which is a lot in the NFL. But just remember, just on pedigrees, he's a Texas kid too from Abilene. Yeah. But he went undrafted out of University of Houston. Yeah. So everybody thought he was too little, and he was a product of a run-and-gun spread offense, right?
Yep.
So you would think that if you step away from this and look at the perspective of it, you would think Nick Foles has a better pedigree. He's actually been a little better under playoff pressure, although that was Keenum's first game.
And Nick Foles did once in a season have 27 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. Yeah. He did take a team to the playoffs. Yeah. So And like you said, Skip, they make it seem like the dude Blake Bortles, like we talk about Blake. Now, Blake does have a team in the playoffs, but you look at Nick Foles' body of work, he's had some nice notches on his belt. Yep. 27 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. That's something to be commended. Taking a team to the playoffs is something to be commended. Vegas is making it seem like he's accomplished nothing.
Nothing. So, just to declare myself, I'm going to root for Minnesota to win this game behind Magic Man Case Keenum because, again,
you Cowboys.
No, I hope, it's not an Eagles thing, I hope that Tom Brady can get by the Jacksonville Jaguars that you're leaning toward picking, obviously. So if he gets by the Jaguars, I want Brady to have the degree of difficulty of having to go against statistically the #1 defense in their Thunderdome in the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Which has never happened, obviously, to have a home Super Bowl team. Yeah. So that would look better on Brady's legacy, because if Nick Foles gets there, then everybody's going to say, Brady's against Nick Foles?
But he's against Case Keenum.
Huh? I know, but against the #1 defense up in that crazy place.
I mean, because here's the thing, though, Skip. Why Eli gets so much credit, they don't look at the defense that Coach Belichick brought in that game. They look at who he beat on the opposing side. So that's the thing they're looking at. Hold on. His first Super Bowl, he beat Kurt Warner, who was a 2-time Super Bowl. He was a league MVP, who was a Super Bowl MVP, who's the first quarterback to throw for over 400 yards in a Super Bowl game. So that's what you look at. You look at, well, who did he beat in that game? Drew Brees. Who did he beat in his Super Bowl win? He beat Peyton Manning.
I know, but in that case, then Brady can't win. It's like 6 to 1, half dozen the other.
There's nothing
Nick Foles' case,
Brady
but you can make the case he beat the #1 defense in its house, right?
Skip, he can't win in this situation because either the quarterback, he was going to be favored. They're a touchdown favorite regardless of who they play.
Right, because they're both technically backups.
Exactly.
How quickly things changed for the Eagles, huh? #1 team in the NFC to now being the lovable underdog.
But Skip, if they go to and win the Super Bowl, that team is in your conference, in your division. And they did it without a walking tour.
And wait a second.
Up the Cowboys.
Wait a second. You just said the magic line. They did it without Carson Wentz, which would completely undercut his value to the team. It already has.
The man
Nick Foles, Carson Wentz. It looks the same to me.
The man was 11-2. The man was 11-2.
Well, this man keeps winning games.
Well, it'll be an interesting sight either way, because Eagles fans have completely embraced it. They actually sold out an Amazon shop of the dog masks, and they're letting them go into Lincoln Financial with them on, as long as they take them off during security.
Yeah, so walk it to him, watch it to him right now.
Don't do that.
Watch it.
Yeah. Oh, Dak, all he's doing is filming commercials.
You realize
Should Mike Tomlin be on the hot seat? We'll discuss that with Rob Parker next.